All right, what's up, YouTube? This is my second time trying to record this. This is part of my Dream Diary series. I forgot most of it. My dream was about actually the two institutions of work and church. Basically, in the dream, I was working at this corporate place or a regular private place of business, and I decided that I wanted to move on and part ways. So I let them know that I was leaving and going on to another, that I was leaving, that I was separating from the company. Now, what ended up happening in the next scene of the dream, I forgot a lot of it. This may not have been the next scene, but later on during the dream, I was like in this, working for like this church, working and living in this church community. In this portion of the dream, there were some very well-known people. Oprah Winfrey was in it. Then there were some people that just looked like they should be well known, and there was a cook that cooked her something. I went back and I revamped the recipe and made it a little more interesting. It was for the holiday season. I did an I altered it with pumpkin instead of something else for a part of the recipe, and it was some type of delectable like baked, um, so something baked. It was very savory. And what it ended up happening was she enjoyed it. They were people that were going off to a very high end function, kind of like an gospel extravaganza or something that you would see on TV or something. Very well dressed, not loud. Like, you see some church things and you're like, wow, that's pretty loud. But there was this lady in this royal blue dress with um, these sequins that were very, very tiny that almost looked like stars glittering in the night sky, and it was just a dress with a jacket, and of course the lining matched that as well. And I did, and I'm sorry if this sounds really deadpan. It's just that I recorded this once already, and then for some reason it wouldn't get uploaded, and I tried to record again and it said I didn't have access to my camera. So I wonder who did. And then I tried to, I said I'll work on something else I was working on, and my microphone wouldn't work. And I thought, well, maybe I try to install Yahoo. Yahoo is a messenger. I used to use it a long time ago, and I ended up uninstalling it because I said, well, maybe that's the problem, and now I can use everything. So I guess that's working on some stuff. Um, but so, anyways, in the dream, I was like, maybe nothing big deal. Like maybe I created original advertisements and media, mostly through paper form and maybe short video clips for this company, and which was a church. And so they were all going off to this big gala. No big deal. I had made some stationery for one of the women that I thought was really nice and so forth, and a little advertisement. And they were all getting ready to go, and so I continued on down the corridor. Door. It's kind of like an extension of a banquet hall. There's an office. Then there's this long corridor. The corridor door right after the office to the right. There's like this huge oven area, and they're actually cooking food. I know this is the end time stuff, but no, they're cooking food in the oven area. Then right after the oven area, there's like this big wooden accordion style sliding door, and they're having this huge conference behind it. And so later on during the dream, the door is wide open when I walk past again. I'm walking back and forth for different things, and there's this big fat white man, heavy set, belly hanging over, and just like a ball with just arms and legs, pretty much. And he has blue eyes and white hair, and he's sitting like in this tan jacket and a light pink shirt, and like maybe a tan pink and blue tie, and he's leaning back, and he sees me walk past the end of the banquet hall where, or the conference room, where it's kind of like on the outside where you see a side door outside. And as I was walking past, he says, oh, there she is, she's coming back to work on Monday, such and such and such. And the way that he said it, he imposed that on me so that anybody that was around would assume that him and I had had a discussion, and that I was going to go back to work for him on Monday. But we had no such discussion. And I was in a situation where, here I am. There's this big, it was just such a lie that it was hard to, it was like, how do you address that? It was such a big lie. It was just like in your face lie. And it was in front of all the church people and stuff. And so either what would happen would be that I would cause a scene or seem um, defiant or something. It seemed disorderly if I said, no, 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 what do you mean by that? We never agreed to that, or but the way or I was like I was interrupting a church conference because he wasn't really I at that time was the help walking past, and he was discussing with them, but he wanted to make sure that I heard it. You know what I'm saying? And so it would have been like I was jumping into their conversation. So it's an awkward position, and he was saying it without saying it. And so I don't know if they were making a deal, him and the black church person, which resembled actually this man that's a commissioner of the city that I'm in right now, that actually really does have a church and pastors a church. And it was like almost like, to me, the feeling was a deal with the devil. They were negotiating me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the white guy, was making it seem like I had already agreed, or we had discussions that I was coming back to work with him. And the black church guy, I don't think he really cared either way. If the guy was going to give him some money, he would take me. And so, the church is basically about institutions. Church and work, they're both institutions, whether you know it or not. There are places where people are socialized and normalized, and where pretty much the slave system is kept into place because people have been programmed. And so it's like you have to kind of quote unquote get with the program. And the people that run these things know it. You can't, I don't think you maybe you can, maybe you're just enjoying your life and all the people that work for you are just peons. But I mean, you gotta know, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't really care. They were bartering me. And the church person, as long as I wasn't really outwardly outspoken about it, it didn't matter to him. I don't think it really would have mattered to him that way. But if I spoke out, it would have seemed like I was disruptive. So it was kind of a tough situation to be in. So that was my dream, and it kind of related to something that happened like in real life, where and this is, to me, it was totally unrelated, but I needed some shoes. So I stopped to look at some shoes I had no intention of buying because, I right now, that's not where I need, I can afford to do that right now. Not common sense wise anyway. So um the young lady, we started talking about work and how, I separated from a company and how she wanted to separate from hers, and how there was this place that I used to work that actually now is offering telecommuting, and, all these other things that we talked about. And then finally, I was talking about how, even though I separated, I could put together a proposal, and really I could probably come back 20 times stronger. And she was like, oh, just laziness. And when she first said that, I didn't think nothing of it, just conversation. But in hindsight, I was like, wait a minute, I shouldn't have let her say that, because words have a lot of power. And I started to feel a little bit on the offensive, like, she called me lazy. I'm not lazy. But then when you think about it, there's a kernel of truth in everything. And in reality, my hiatus is not laziness, it's me gauging, the world around me, and kind of preparing my mindset to kind of see, because when you're in the middle of everything, you can't see what's going on because you're busy being in the middle of everything, you know. And a lot of homeless people do have that mentality, where they are actually observers. They're kind of observing what the hell is going on, and some of them are really caught up in some crazy shit, but a lot of people are just observers. They've been thrown into the homeless situation, and they're like, wait a minute, had I not been thrown here, I would not have seen all this shit that's going on. I've always been aware, but I never really. I thought, well, maybe, if everybody else is thinking this way and doing this, then that must be the right way. But just to let you know, the dream was basically about institutions of church and work, how they correlate and how they work together, and that was where my dream brought it, where they were working together, kind of to manipulate or manage, you know, the slaves that are working under that division, So that's that. I said it much differently probably the first time, probably a lot better, but that's usually how it goes. And I found this happening before in the past too. I think when I was being watched or whatever, that whenever I recorded something that I felt was prolific, or, it's always best the first time around for me, it got eaten, or I had some kind of system failure or system problem. So, I mean, just whatever, I'm posting it. There it is. Peace out. I'm just an average girl in my average home. um, I was starting to do Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell, but whatever. Anyways, God bless and peace.